Welcome to another episode of Nerds Amalgamated. I'm the DJ, and with me today I have the Professor.
Hello. You're
How's
still
it
doing
going?
that P.T. Barnum thing, are you?
I love a good entrance. And it's good. Like, hey, at least it makes it more entertaining. You had a fun week this week.
Apart from the humidity, it hasn't been too bad.
That's true. Yeah. Although I wonder how long this humidity is gonna last, though.
Until next year. We're going into summer now.
Yeah. Although I've been hearing that we might get a couple of rainstorms now that we've entered the La Nina effect.
Yeah, the usual summer storms.
Oh, yeah.
But they'll be a bit wetter than usual.
Well, let's just hope it doesn't become a big problem like what's happening with esports right now.
That one was okay. We can do better though, DJ.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. So, you got a story about esports' latest problem.
Yeah, they seem pretty endless, but to be fair, so does, physical sport. All of this doping and cheating, and now we're finding out that esports is attracting problem gamblers.
Ah, man.
Yeah, including children.
That's a very, very interesting territory they've landed themselves in.
Yeah, so this article I've got has statistics from the UK, and it points out that the average tennis spectator is 61, and the average esports spectator is in their 20s.
Oh.
So you've already got a much younger, skewed audience with less life experience to know if they're being taken for a ride. And the Wimbledon's men's final last year had 9 million viewers. Mm-hmm. The League of Legends World Championship had over 100 million viewers with a peak of 44 million.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's a absolutely massive industry at the moment.
It's true though. Like, it's true that it's a massive industry, but come on, nothing can beat. But how much revenue does esports generally get? Does it rival like the amount of revenue, let's say, NFL gets?
I don't know how it compares to other sports bet revenue, but the number they have here is that global esports betting will be worth 15 billion this year, up from 6 billion in 2016. So, which is about when esports sort of came into public knowledge.
Okay. I've got a report here. With the revenue, global esports revenues will grow to 1.1 billion in 2020, a year-on growth of 15.7%, up from 950.6 million.
Interesting. What country is that for? Because those are very different numbers to what I have.
This is from, it says read the report in Chinese.
That's going to be hard.
Yeah. But the other facts I've got here, it's in 2020, 822.4 million in revenues, or 3/4 of the total market will come from media rights and sponsorships. Globally, the total esports audience will grow up to 495 million in 2020, which is an increase of 11.7 million. Mobile esports enjoyed a huge spike in the past year, with emerging markets from Southeast Asia, India, and Brazil at the forefront.
Okay.
I'll just post the up here.
So you've got different numbers to what this article has.
Yeah.
But this article has a links to a BBC article saying that, how many is it? The number of problem gamblers aged 11 to 16 has quadrupled to more than 50,000 in 2 years.
Oh.
So that's just in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think that's a problem.
Oh, man. See, the biggest problem, I reckon, when it comes to gambling in esports will be the on-the-spot gamblers. Like, can you imagine, like, people betting, going like, okay, I want my esports player to, I bet you he'll take the wrong lane because I paid him, like, a lot of money kind of thing.
Oh, you mean match fixing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Match fixing, yeah.
I'm not sure if that's ever happened in esports yet, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, just this year in May, some Victorian men were hit with corruption charges. So there is definitely match fixing issues.
Yeah, here we go. Here's the whole thing I was talking about, spot betting. So spot betting is when they sees gamblers staking their money on minutiae of sporting encounters. Anything from exact timing on the first throw in during the football match to whether the first ball of the cricket match will be a wide or a no ball.
Oh, okay.
So let's say, for example, like you and I were gambling at a League of Legends tournament, and I say like, okay, I bet you $50 that this guy will take the wrong lane in a multiplayer scenario. He takes the wrong lane, and I win money. So it's like on the spot betting.
Yeah, that sounds like a problem. But I think the key issue is that children are able to gamble. It means that because gambling under the age of 18 is illegal in most countries that I'm aware of. And that means that these gambling companies aren't doing enough to filter their audience. They're somehow allowing children, because that's 11 to 16-year-olds, they're not remotely mature enough to gamble. And they're somehow allowing them to use their gambling site.
Yeah, and the crazy part about it is that if let's say, for example, they ban gambling in the Western countries, these gambling companies can supplement their income from other countries like China or India or Southeast Asia.
Yeah, and the BBC article does identify that it identifies that foreign companies are the ones doing this. So it doesn't really, it's hard to stop from happening. But, sorry, not the BBC article, the Next Web article. It's hard to stop it from happening. But what they should do is ban the companies from operating in the UK unless they meet UK gambling standards.
Yeah.
Because you need to be 13 to use Facebook. These companies are targeting kids who aren't even old enough to use Facebook.
Yeah, and I think it also comes down to games companies as well. Like, look at EA, FIFA, for example. They are so saturated with microtransactions and gambling-like elements as well.
Yeah. Microtransactions are basically gambling, and an increasing number of countries are actually calling it that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go and play a game in Belgium, you won't actually get microtransactions. And the reason for that is that they've actually made it illegal.
Yeah. Oh, and here's an interesting thing. EA has removed the FIFA microtransactions ad that was aimed at kids recently.
Jeez, EA. I would say I'm surprised, but I'm really not.
Yeah.
If there was any big megacorp that would do that, it would be EA.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. See, that's the other interesting thing. What's going to happen when it comes to problem gamblers in esports would be like if microtransactions land in esports, microtransactions in esports will be like the next steroids in the sporting field.
No, we've already got steroids in esports.
Which is?
Literally steroids. People were doping in esports.
I've heard of that.
And it doesn't have to be steroids, but another common one would be something like Ritalin.
Oh no!
Helps you with your concentration.
So much for the good old days of target bots and whatnot.
People were doing that.
Oh yeah, I remember that guy. I remember that guy who was using a Word document as a way to cover his tracks.
Yeah, he had Word on a USB drive.
See, he nearly got it. He nearly got away. He nearly got away.
Yeah. So esports. I don't know if governments need to regulate esports or if esports need to regulate themselves. But something needs to change.
Yeah, but I get the whole governments are going to try and regulate esports. Like, but the problem is which countries are going to say yes to it. Like, you're going to try and if you say that to China, like, hey, China, regulate your gambling laws, China will go like, nah, it'll be fine because we have better computers.
Oh God, not that one again.
But yeah, but as I say, like, there's like the biggest contributors would be like from China and Southeast Asia, and if you were to tell them like, hey, control your thingy, that's like saying hey, don't give us money, just stop giving us money.
Yeah, Asia does have a lot of esports players and a lot of esports professionals. and fans. So if the individual esports leagues aren't going to regulate themselves, if the gambling companies aren't going to regulate themselves, then we need a concerted effort from every country.
But that being said, though, wouldn't that be a bit of a nuclear option, though?
It would. I'd like to think that the industry can look after itself and that the government doesn't need to step in. I don't believe that they will, though. Just like with loot boxes.
Yeah.
The industry managed to step in when games were going to be banned for classification laws, and they formed there's a couple of industry ratings bodies. There's PEGI in the UK, ESRB, most of the rest of the world. So it took the threat of countries banning games because of inappropriate content for game developers to start regulating themselves. So maybe that's what needs to happen. A couple of large countries or significant countries in the esports scene need to declare that they are looking into laws about problem gambling in esports. And then that would get them to come into line. But we can't know that until it happens.
Yeah. And the other problem is when you try and regulate it, it's people will say like, oh, it's an attack on liberty. It's an attack on our rights. Like, we can't do this. And and also the other problem would be, though, like some companies benefit on the whole gambling scene. Like like if you were to, if we were to hurt the gambling scene in affecting their bottom line, they will just go like, okay, you know what? We'll take our stuff and we can just move to another area. Maybe sports, maybe MMA combat, maybe something like that. So
yeah, it's a big international issue, and it's going to be hard to crack down on.
How do you, from a game developer's perspective, what would you do to eliminate this sort of problem?
I don't know that there's anything that a game developer could do to, apart from not use loot boxes, because loot boxes pretty dodgy.
Yeah.
They're targeted at children especially, and they are akin to gambling. So I think that you probably shouldn't have you kind of have to have loot boxes to make money, because game prices haven't gone up with inflation as much as they should. But loot boxes also open the door to, problem gambling.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the extent of what a game developer can do in this scenario. So a game developer can't really say, stop using my game for gambling. People are going to gamble on esports no matter what.
Yeah, that's true. And
the game developer doesn't have control over the gambling organization.
Yeah, and even if he does, though, it will affect a lot of things. Like, it will affect media companies, it will affect sponsorships, and it's a can of worms. Yeah,
it's not an easy. There's no easy solution.
And speaking of easy solution, speaking of not easy solutions, we've got a story about a supernova that nearly killed the Earth.
We're all gonna die.
Save that for November.
Are you voting for Giant Meteor?
Yeah.
You're not American, then you can't vote.
Yep, that's true. So, you've got an interesting story as well, Professor, about this one.
Do I?
Oh yes. So, what you told me was so in 4.5 billion year history, Earth has run out the gauntlet. Numerous catastrophes and such as impacts, volcanic conflagrations, and to fragile episodes of snowball Earth, yet life persists.
Yeah, so as we were talking a few weeks ago about the life on Venus, and also last week with Fermi's paradox, there's a lot of things that seem to have to go right for life to survive. And this time, scientists have discovered a supernova. Happened about 2.5 million years ago, and luckily wasn't aiming at the Earth. So because of the magnetic field of the star, a supernova sends out pulses in particular directions, aligned with the axis of the star's spin. And if one of them happens to be pointed at you within range, you're screwed.
I like how one said, one of the quotes is, quote, "If a planet is too close, it will be sterilized or even destroyed."
Yeah, actually, I read a really good short story recently where some scientists went to investigate a supernova and found evidence of a civilization there that had been wiped out by the supernova. And eventually figured out that, this star that was the supernova was the Star of Bethlehem. So one of the scientists is a religious fellow, and he's like, why would God blow up an entire civilization to tell us where Jesus was? I'm not doing it justice. It's a really good short story.
Oh, that would be funny.
Yeah, it was a really good twist.
Mm-hmm. So they're saying here the study from where they got the information from is what are called ferromanganese crusts. And these are made of rock, but look more like chocolate cake. They put deposits of marine sediments that grow over time as iron and manganese oxides precipitate out of the seawater.
I found it. So it's The Star by Clark.
Okay.
I'll put a link in the show notes.
Sure. So yeah, they keep a record of the chemicals in the source water as they form over time. Besides being a potential source of valuable materials, they're also valuable evidence for scientists. The team of researchers behind the study examined a sample of the ferromanganese crust and found not only 60 Fe, but also 53 Mn. And 60 Fe is known as extinct radionuclide. Because of the half-life is 2.6 million years, any 60 Fe on Earth should be decayed into nickel long ago.
Oh, and how long did you say the half-life of that is?
2.6 million years.
That doesn't add up. If the supernova... Oh, they're saying any that existed before this supernova. I was going to point out that since the half-life is only 2.6 million years, we'd expect to see half of the remaining material left over from this particular supernova, which you can tell by looking at the ratio. So you look at the ratio, if you've got half the material remaining in a sample, that means that it was one half-life away, a quarter remaining, 2 half-lives, and so on. And there's no third half-life because Gabe Newell can't count. I shouldn't be so mean. Alex just came out.
So in their work, the researchers looked at samples of ferromanganese crust of hydrogenetic origin from 4 different locations in the Pacific Ocean. 2 were from the Midway Atoll, 1 was from the Donizetti Ridge, and the 4th was from the Central Pacific. They ranged in depth from 1,589 meters down to 5,120 meters. And each sampling location yielded 15 samples of increasing depth for a total of 60 samples. What's going to be interesting about this would be that this could open up a whole new level of archaeology.
Yeah, so stellar archaeology, sort of. They're saying that this could actually be linked to the ice ages. So cosmic rays can alter the climate. And one of the authors of this paper theorizes that the ice ages, which began about 2.6 million years ago, might be related to that. So just knowing that the supernova happened near us even 2.6 million years ago helps teach us about how stars form, how they live, how they die. It's possible also that the supernova is related to the Pliocene marine megafauna extinction. So, yeah, there's definitely things that this supernova could have had an effect on Earth.
I wonder which extinction event number was this one though, because Earth, if I recall, had dozens of extinction events in the.
I think we identify 5 or 6 of them.
We've got.
Here we go.
5,
so
yeah.
The Holocene extinction is the one caused by humans. The past tens of thousands of years since human civilization formed. And even before that, humans have had a really bad effect on biodiversity. So the Holocene extinction is the 6th one identified. But there could be others, of course, that haven't been identified. Like the paper linked for the Pliocene marine megafauna extinction was only published in 2017 and says that it identified a previously unrecognized extinction event.
So this discovery is just basically scratching the surface to look more into the extinction events.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch. So So that the Holocene extinction is a mass extinction. So Wikipedia has a article list of extinction events, which lists a whole bunch, but with the 6 mass extinctions mark. So we've got it even has causes. So we've got the Holocene extinction caused by humans.
Mm-hmm.
Go back a couple of million years, it lists the Pliocene extinction caused possibly by a supernova, or they theorize possibly an asteroid impact. Then you can keep going back. You've got KT, which is the extinction of the dinosaurs. Further back, there's a couple of extinction of dinosaurs that didn't completely wipe them out, like the Triassic-Jurassic and the Permian-Triassic as major events. And even before then, the Devonian extinction, and way, way back, 450 to 440 million years ago, the Ordovician-Silurian extinction event. And way back, the oldest one they list is the Great Oxygenation event. Because I've talked about this before, but life on Earth hasn't always been oxygen metabolizing. Up until 2,400 million years ago, life on Earth created oxygen as a waste product. And some of that still survives, particularly the stromatolites, which are made out of cyanobacteria, which release oxygen. The issue being that oxygen reaches a particular percentage in the atmosphere and kills off the life forms that produce it. Just like CO2 is reaching a particular level in the atmosphere and killing off the life forms that produce it, but in a different way.
See, that's going to be interesting with the whole supernova event. Is that how will we see a bigger push for climate change and global warming because of this?
Well, human-caused climate change isn't in doubt. The last 150 years since the Industrial Revolution has a massive increase in CO2 emissions and CO2 levels and global temperature. But it's not the only time that the climate has changed. And life has gotten through the previous climate changes, not always as in a form that is recognizable from the previous. So a couple of the extinction events linked in that article are climate change extinctions. So rapid climate change happens faster than a life form can adapt to it and kills it off. We're currently doing that by pumping out tons of CO2 and raising the temperature. Even just a few degrees is enough to really mess with things. But I don't think there's any doubt that a supernova or other stellar event is causing the recent climate change.
I hope so. Well,
because it would be nice to know. I mean, it's not nice to know that it's our fault, but it's nice to know that there's something we can do about it. Yeah. If a supernova caused a climate change event, then there might not be anything we could do to survive it. Hell, the Little Ice Age in the medieval ages was caused by a volcanic eruption. There's a couple of times in fairly recent history that the temperature has changed significantly because of a volcanic eruption, but only just for a few years, then it evens out once the ash falls from the atmosphere. But, at least we know that there's ways we could mitigate this rather than having an event that there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah. And speaking of an event that we couldn't do anything about it, and thanks to an unspecified illness of unknown origin, we've got some movie delays. Good. Because of this unspecified illness, a couple of movies have been going up in release dates and going down in release dates. For example, the Batman, it's going to be delayed. And it's going to be delayed to October the 1st, 2021, which was the original release date. Now it's set for March the 4th, 2022. And Dune fans, prepare to cry. This movie is not going to be coming out on December 18th this year, but it'll be moved to October 1st, 2021. Yeah.
I'm still haven't come to accept that. Still going through the phases of grief.
Which phase are you up to now?
Anger. Why?
So a source has said that they're confident that the marketplace could support multiple tent poles, as it has every year around every year around the holidays, but with no vaccine in sight, Americans have remained reluctant to return to theaters, even though no new COVID-19 cases have been traced back to the cinemas.
It's unfortunate that the UK and the US cinemas are the defining factor for this, because we've got it pretty under control in Australia.
Do we, though? Do we? I mean, look at Melbourne and Sydney, though.
Yeah, it's still pretty under control. We have a fairly manageable number of daily cases. We haven't had any cases in Queensland in a few days.
Thank God. Luckily, no. Although, actually, no, there was a positive case yesterday, and they found it through the sewers, bizarrely.
Okay, yeah. No, that makes sense, because the viral shedding shows up in feces.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a way that you can track drug use in the population.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
But,
there's a lot that shows up in poo.
But yeah, there are some other movies that have also been delayed as well. The new Matrix, that's going to be coming out on December 22nd, 2021. As I said, the Batman's coming out in 2022. The Flash movie comes out November 4th, 2022. Shazam! Fury of the Gods, June the 2nd, 2023. The recent Black Adam movie that everyone was hyped for on DC fandom, that's been now...
Black
Adam.
Oh. I haven't heard of a Black Adam movie. I didn't know Rowan Atkinson was still doing that.
I wish Hugh Laurie was in that movie too. That's been undated, and even the Minecraft movie's also been undated now. But also Wonder Woman 1984 is going to be released. It's still set to be released on Christmas Day this year. So this is going to be interesting.
So the next big movie is going to be Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm disappointed it's not going to be June, but I also want to make sure June gets the best shot it has, because, we're only getting sort of half of the first book. It's a self-contained story in itself, but it is still only half of the first book.
And plus, look at it this way. It's like getting an extension with the assignment. They can add in new footage and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if principal photography hasn't completed, then...
Well, considering we're 2 months out from release, I think it probably would be.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what gets done in the last 2 months of a movie, but it's not exactly a whole lot of time, considering movies take several years to come out.
Although it's interesting because they said that they wrapped up filming last year. So
okay, maybe do a bit more CGI work, get things looking a bit nicer.
Yeah. But that's what's gonna kill Hollywood now because of this unspecified disease. Like,
why are we referring it to as an unspecified diseise?
I'd just love to say that it's an unspecified disease of unknown orange.
You can say its name.
I prefer not to, okay? But I find it amazing how this disease has put Hollywood on ransom now.
Yeah, and the ransom is everyone else behaving. People would behave and wear their mask. Hollywood would be open. But because they don't, Hollywood is closed.
Yeah, now Hollywood's just relying on streaming now, so that's going to be interesting. Can you imagine Hollywood cinemas being dying because of this problem?
Yeah,
be like, bye cinemas, hello streaming services. Although, how would you react if Dune was to go like, okay, we're not going to release it in cinemas, we're going to release this on Netflix?
I would prefer it to release in cinemas because it's a big movie and it's Denis Villeneuve? However you pronounce it?
Denis Villeneuve. Yeah, Villeneuve.
Yeah, but it's French, so you got to pronounce it with a weird... you can't just say the letters that are on the screen. It's French, so you got to drop half the letters and add a bunch of others. So, and I did see a video recently where he explained how to say his name. But anyway, Dennis or Dene, however you say it, his other movies are incredible cinema experiences because of his cinematography and his general work is just so good on big screen. I'm really disappointed I didn't get to see Blade Runner 2049 on big screen. And I'd rather see Dune on big screen than on my desktop or my laptop because I think it will really benefit from the screen quality. So I would accept it if it comes out on streaming, but I would love it to come out not on streaming.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. But one sort of franchise that'll be interesting to see on the big screen is Robert Downey Jr.'s pet project, which is a Sherlock Holmes Cinematic Universe.
And specifically the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movies that didn't get great reviews.
I don't know. I'm speechless on this one. I mean, this is what
Okay, so on IMDb, it does have 7.5 out of 10 for Sherlock Holmes Game of Shadows. So it's better than I remember hearing about. I remember people just didn't like it, but maybe it is more popular than I thought. But it does hit me as who asked for this?
Yeah.
Because it's been 9 years, and the Avatar is getting a sequel after even longer, but they let us know they were going to make that sequel basically as soon as Avatar came out. Yeah. So where is this coming from?
So this is coming from a keynote panel at the Fast Company Innovation Festival on last Monday, where Robert Downey Jr., his wife, producer Susan Downey, they were speaking with moderator and Fast Company editor-in-chief Stephanie Mehta. And they talked about the company's plans to build a Sherlock Holmes franchise after working closely with Marvel mogul Kevin Feige for over a decade. So Robert Downey Jr. Says this: at this point, we really feel that there is not a mystery reverse built out anywhere, and Conan Doyle is the definitive voice in that arena. I think to this day, and so to me, why do a third movie if you're not going to be able to spin off some real gems of diversity and other times and elements? I mean, I'm kind of echoing your question. Why? Who is this movie going to be made for? And we already had like a kind of like how
many Sherlock Holmes franchises have we had since Robert Downey Jr.?
If I recall, like 2. The Benedict Cumberbatch. Is it Cumberbatch or Cumberbatch? Cumberbatch. Okay. We had the Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock Holmes series, and we had the recent Enola Holmes series, which
there's also Elementary, which has an American Bond. Bond. Why did I say Bond? Holmes. American Holmes. Actually, was it an American Holmes? I know it had a female Watson.
Yeah, I think it was.
It was set in America anyway.
Yeah. It was set in America, but yeah. But yeah, like, why do we need another Sherlock Holmes series? Like,
money.
So his wife also came out saying, we think that there's an opportunity to build it out more. Susan added, spin-off characters from a third movie to see what's going on in the television landscape, to see what Warner Media is starting to build out, things with HBO and HBO Max. So
okay.
I just think who's going to be if they were to do this like as a Marvel sort of franchise, who's going to be the big bad guy? Because Moriarty in the Sherlock Holmes universe is the big bad guy, and they already killed him in the second movie.
Just bring him back to life.
Yeah, that would be a great game of cat and mouse. Like, oh, Sherlock Holmes, you caught Moriarty again. Yeah, he was trying to resurrect himself.
No, just make it like Scooby-Doo. Have every movie end with him pulling off the mask and finding Moriarty.
And I wouldn't have gotten away if it wasn't for you, middling Sherlock Holmes. And what else was there? There were some really interesting lines here. Like, there was another one saying, "We're not repeaters. We don't want to just do what we've done elsewhere, somewhere else." He said, "But I think the model itself has become much more dimensionalized than it was before." This was after. So he announced the whole thing during the event, and HB's already greenlit a second season of Perry Mason, where he and Susan have big plans for an early detective universe. So a universe spanning across movies and TV series, and who knows what. Yeah.
Okay, then. I don't know what they'll spin off, though. Are they going to be other detectives like Enola Holmes? Is Watson going to get his own series?
See, I would love to see a Watson series. That would be great. Like, that would be fun. That would be fun to watch. Like, how was Watson like before he met Holmes, kind of?
Yeah, I don't know if that's covered in the official books.
The other thing would be interesting is whether the Holmes estate will be open to that idea as well. Because
do they have to be?
I mean,
I thought Holmes was public domain now, or at least some of it was.
I thought so too until the Holmes estate decided to sue Netflix's show Enola Holmes over the betrayals.
Okay, yeah. So some of the most of Arthur Conan Doyle's stuff is off copyright, but the a couple of them are still in copyright, which is why Holmes estate thinks they have a right to sue Netflix. The issue is that the Holmes from the had character development. So the Holmes in the early books was he's kind of high functioning autistic. He doesn't have a lot of emotions. He doesn't care much for social niceties, but he does learn to fit in over the course of the stories. So the later stories are the ones that Enola Holmes is based on, and that's why they sued.
The other interesting question would be, why do this now, and who are they going to cater it to? Like, are they going to cater it to like the Sherlock Holmes fans, or are they just going to cater it to like the to just pop culture fans kind of thing? Like, are we gonna are we gonna see like an Iron Man mask in a Sherlock Holmes movie kind of thing?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen Robert Downey Jr. in much recently. Does he actually play characters, or is he like Johnny Depp and only plays his one character?
Well, in Sherlock Holmes, the first one, he acted like this. He acted a bit like Johnny Depp in terms of, yes, I am this very interesting guy. I'm quirky and amazing at the same time. And you see that with Iron Man as well. Like, you see Iron Man first, and then you see with Sherlock Holmes. It's kind of like, and you'll see with what's that Doolittle movie as well. Like, he's quirky, enigmatic, and eccentrically smart. Like, I feel like he's getting typecasted into these roles.
Okay.
But I wish the franchise good luck. I mean, we've got too many superhero movies lately. I mean,
don't make him too superhero. Like in the other Robert Downey Jr. movies, he's basically unstoppable. But I think Holmes is human. He's very smart, but he doesn't he shouldn't be able to win any fight he gets into. Unfortunately, that's the way the Robert Downey Jr. Holmes is, so I don't think I'm going to like this one.
A good change from all the Marvel movies, the DC movies.
Yeah, it'll be a nice change if they make him different from, Iron Man.
Yeah, but that's the other interesting thing, like, because all detective movies have kind of been resurging a bit. Like, we had the Kenneth Branagh movies coming out recently. Like, they had the Murder of the Nile Express. Is that the one?
Orient Express.
That's the one, yep. Yeah, Murder in the Orient Express, and I think Kenneth Branagh played as Poirot in that one. Now he's coming back for another Murder in the Nile. That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I would love to see that's another interesting one as well. Like, they're bringing back Poirot and making it into a series as well.
He's been a series for decades.
Oh yeah, he's been a series for a decade, but not a cinematic series though, like big budget movie kind of thing. But only time will tell. Only time will tell. So, Professor, what game have you been playing?
I've been playing some more Fall Guys. The second season just came out.
Ooh.
Which is medieval themed.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's got a new egg scramble map called Egg Siege. So all the new maps are themed. There's Egg Siege, where you just a modified version of the existing Egg Scramble with different obstacles. Night Fever, which has a bunch of like swinging axes and new obstacles in it, including thick bonkers.
that. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
They really go hard with the memes when naming their things. And apparently they put this one up for a poll, and one of the losing contributions was Spiky Mikey, which I like more. But they have Thick Bonkus and Big Geetus.
It's like that. It's like that. They named the ship Bodie McBugface.
Yeah. So there's also Wall Guys, which is an odd sort of semi-cooperative one. So there are obstacles that are too high for a single player to jump over. So you work together to stack up boxes to make a stairway.
The biggest flaw we've encountered in this new season.
I seem to be having a lot more server issues, which possibly is because so many people are playing right now, like when it first came out. But it does come with a nice new set of graphical updates and stuff for different levels. The existing levels have had a bit of polish put on them.
Yes.
There's also Hoopsie Legends, which is there's Hoopsie Daisy, which is a team-based game where you jump through hoops to score points. And now they've added Hoopsie Legends, which is a single-player version of that, adding in the new elements from the Knights update. Yeah, I'm a bit annoyed. I was going to make level 40. I had plenty of time to do it, but I got disconnected so often in the last day that I just couldn't do it.
Oh,
yeah.
But the game is still pretty popular, though. I mean,
yeah.
There's no other competitor that's matching in terms of memberships for this game.
No. So I'm hoping they are definitely an active dev team, and I expect they'll probably push out a balance patch to fix some of the bugs and eventually get things sorted out so that the game is actually more playable.
Sure. How much would you rate this game? How many nerdy beanies?
I'd still give it 4 out of 5.
I've been playing Among Us. Yes, too addictive. Yep, still. Hey, I will say this game is just an exercise in how to gaslight people.
Yeah.
Like you gotta keep second guessing. I mean, like how many were they in the admin, or were they not in the admin, or were they doing the tasks that they were assigned to, or were they not doing the tasks? I would love to see a little like a mini game in the voting process. Like let's say if you're down to like 4 people and you couldn't vote, they should introduce a Russian roulette mini game.
Maybe they could break out tasers, like you at the end of it go full aliens and give you weapons or something. I don't know how they would balance that, but that would be just randomly off the top of my head. That's a cool idea. I'm sure it's not balanced at all, but hire me people.
It'd be a really nice addition. I mean, for Halloween and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I hope we get a season 2 for Among Us. Like maybe get some new maps or. Yeah,
well, they've announced that. So they actually a couple of weeks ago cancelled Among Us 2 and decided they would roll it back into Among Us 1.
Yeah, I think I heard about that. My biggest flaw with this game is sometimes the screen glitches, and I think I had your scenario once upon a time as well, in terms of you're dead, but then you come back to life bizarrely. Yeah,
it's horribly buggy.
Yeah. If I've
had several times where either when someone calls a meeting and it's supposed to teleport you, it doesn't teleport you, or I've been killed, but playing as a ghost, I'm still alive, and then I get killed again. So yeah, I was actually the last human at least the last human to die in a match recently. And I was playing on Discord with my friends, and we went to a meeting, and they're like, "Why aren't you saying anything? You're alive." Yeah. And I'm like, no. In the end, the killer ended up killing me again, and that ended the round. And I've had another where I was doing a job in don't remember the name of the map. Mirror, I think. I was doing a job on that map in the reactor room. A meeting was called. I didn't go to the meeting. I finished my job, and then I was stuck, paralyzed until the meeting finished.
Oh, that's gonna suck.
Yeah, it was annoying because everyone's like, it was it was red. And I was like, wait, are we voting? I'm doing my job. What's going on?
Anyways, I give Among Us 4 out of 5. Like I said, it's an addictive game. So on to our shout-outs. On the 9th of October 2020, the Nobel Prize winners have been announced. So Nobel Prize season begins every October as committees in Norway and Sweden name laureates in a variety of prizes in the sciences, literature, and economics, as well as piecework. The prizes most years are presented to recipients in Stockholm and Oslo, but because of this unspecified illness of unknown origin, the committees are changing their approaches. So they'll be doing the award ceremony in 2021, and they've also announced another change, which is that the prize is raised to 10 million Swedish krona, which is 1 million more than last year. I got to get myself a Nobel Prize. That's a hike in the prize vault of about 112,000 in current exchange rates. So it's not that much. So you've heard about the Peace Prize winner, haven't you, Professor?
I've heard a lot about the winners. I don't remember who was the Peace Prize off the top of my head, though.
The Peace Prize winner was given to the World Food Programme for its efforts in combating a surge in global hunger.
Cool. I can get behind food. Food's good.
Yep. For the Nobel Prize in Medicine, it was the discovery of the hepatitis C virus. And the committee said that the three scientists had made possible blood tests and new medicines that have saved millions of lives. The physics one is pretty cool too. It was the discovery that has improved the understanding of the universe, including the work on black holes.
Who did that one go to?
That went to Roger Penrose, Reinhard Genzel, and Andrea Ghez.
Ah, yes, Penrose. Actually, the Royal Institution published some talks by him, or at least linked to them the other day. I'll throw them in the show notes. But he's the one behind the Penrose Stairs illusion.
And for the Nobel Prize in Chemistry, it was for the work in the development of CRISPR-Cas9 method of genome editing. Congratulations to all. On the 2nd of October 2020, Maxi Mars, a mini moon, and meteors light up the October night sky. Mars will be at its closest to Earth on October 6th, 1410 Universal Time. Depending on which Australian time zone you live in, that will be either late Tuesday night or early Wednesday morning on October 7th, which is already passed. This will be this will be on for the next few days.
Yeah, I believe it's 10 days before it goes back to normal.
Yeah, and there's an internet hoax that has been doing the rounds that every time Mars reaches its closest point, but from where we're standing, Mars is more than 60 times smaller than the Moon. So Mars and Earth come close to each other every 2 years.
So wait, what's the hoax?
That you'll be bigger than the moon. That Mars will be bigger than the Moon.
Oh, okay.
And even a mini moon.
Yeah, that's pretty obviously wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Mars is bigger than the Moon physically, but it is too far away to appear larger than the Moon.
Yep. So yeah, Mars continues to get brighter and brighter until Wednesday, October 14th, when it reaches opposition. In other words, it is in direct line with Earth and the Sun. On the 6th of October 2020, 60th anniversary of Spartacus premiered in the Mill Theater, New York City. So Spartacus, the American epic adventure film released in 1960 that recounts the story of a historical slave uprising against Rome. The movie, which starred Kirk Douglas and was directed by Stanley Kubrick, won widespread critical acclaim. The contract between the theater and Universal Pictures include a $1 million rental minimum, the highest ever for a movie. After the film's premiere, the studio bowed to pressure and removed a suggestive bath scene with homosexual overtones, including Oliver and Tony Curtis.
Different times back then.
Too bad they want the real Spartacus.
We are all Spartacus on this blessed day.
On the 6th of October 2020, Eddie Van Halen passes away at 65. The guitarist, band leader, has died. His band, Van Halen, spanned more than 4 decades, 12 albums, 3 lead singers, and some of the most dramatic guitar solos in rock and roll history. His iconic guitar, named Frankenstein, was pieced together to his personal specifications in 1975 from the components of other instruments. a $50 body, a $75 neck, a single humbucker pickup, and crucial tremolo bar. With a red surface crisscrossed frantically with black and white stripes and traffic reflectors stuck to the back, it remains one of the most recognizable guitars in rock and roll history. The idea was to stretch out and get loud, he once said, as he referenced the fictional metal act Spinal Tap, whose members bragged on camera that their amplifiers went all the way to 11. While they're going to 11, Van Halen joked during a 2015 appearance at the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C., I was already going to 15. He died from cancer in Santa Monica, California. Man, what a legend. 6th of October 2020, Johnny Nash passes away at 80. Johnny Nash, a singer-songwriter, actor, and producer who rose from pop crooner to early reggae star to the creator and performer of the million-selling anthem I Can See Clearly Now, has died. Reportedly written by Nash while recovering from cataract surgery, I Can See Clearly Now was a story of overcoming hard times that itself raised the spirits of countless listeners, while its swelling pop reggae groove promised of a bright sunny day. And Nash's gospel-styled exclamation midway, "Look straight ahead, nothing but blue skies." A backing chorus lifting the words into the heavens. A decade later, he was co-running a record company, had become a rare American-born singer of reggae, and helped launch the career of his friend Bob Marley. Nash praised the vibes of this little island while speaking of Jamaica, and he was among the first artists to bring reggae to US audiences. He died from natural causes in Houston, Texas. On to our remembrances. On the 6th of October 1951, Will Keith Kellogg, American industrialist in food manufacturing, best known as the founder of Kellogg Company, which to this day produces a wide variety of popular breakfast cereals. Later, he found the Kellogg Arabian branch and made it a renowned establishment of breeding of Arabian horses. Kellogg started the Kellogg Foundation in 1934, and with $66 million in Kellogg Company stock investments, a donation that would be worth over $1 billion in today's economy. So yeah, he started he started this breakfast cereal company, and with his brother, and they both argued over adding sugar to the products. And so after the argument in 1906, Will found the Battle Creek Toasted Cornflake Company. Words. Which later became the Kellogg Company. So he died from heart failure at the age of 91 in Battle Creek, Michigan. Oh, and also an interesting fact, his company was the first one to put the nutrition labels on foods.
That almost makes up for all the other craziness.
Mm-hmm. On the 6th of September 1986, Alexander Semenovich Conrad, a Soviet mathematician and computer scientist best known for the Gauss-Conrad quadrature formula, which he published in 1964. He's also known for his contributions to economics, specifically for proposing corrections and calculating price formation for the USSR. Later, Conrad gave his fortune and life to medicine to care for terminal cancer patients. He's remembered for his captivating personality and was admired as a student, teacher, and leader. He played an important role in building the first major Russian computer, which is the relay computer RVM-1. He's well known for saying chess is the Drosophila of artificial intelligence. And he spent his fortune developing Millie from a sour milk extract for cancer patients to fill a shortage of Anabol, an expensive drug developed in small quantities by his executives Bogan Danov in Bulgaria. So this was a last resort to treating seriously ill patients and was administered by physicians. Conrad never gave the drug to patients, and through physicians gave it away for free. The drug was unapproved and a criminal case was brought against him. He regained his research records when a relative of the plaintiff required Millie for treatment and the case was dismissed. He died from a stroke at the age of 64 in Moscow. 6th of October 2017, David Joseph Marks, British architect and the designer of the London Eye, the British Airways I-360 Observation Tower in Brighton, and the Treetop Walkway at Kew Gardens, London. In 1993, an article in the Sunday Times invited readers to develop a monument for the dawn of a new era. So that's where they designed the London Eye. And the first time they gave it to the Sunday Times, nobody won it. Nobody won the competition, so they went back to the drawing board, and I think they won it afterwards.
I like that we've got our own knockoff London Eye in Brisbane, and that they make movies set in London and just use Brisbane as a standard. The most egregious is the K9 TV series, which featured a bunch of Australian teenage actors doing terrible British accents. And the scene where the Eye was hijacked by terrorists. So they used footage of the area around the Brisbane wheel.
So yeah, they decided. So Marx and his wife Barfield decided to build it themselves, and they unfortunately sold their stake in the London Eye last year. And
fortunately or unfortunately, how much money did they make?
I think they might not have made a lot of money because they're one third owners of it, along with British Airways and the Tussauds Group, which operated the structure.
Okay.
He was appointed MBE in the 2000 New Year's Honours, and he died from cancer at the age of 64. On to our famous birthdays, and on the 6th of October 1846, George Westinghouse was born. American entrepreneur, engineer based in Pennsylvania who created the railway air brake and was pioneer of the electrical industry, receiving his first patent at the age of 19. Westinghouse saw the potential of using alternating currents for electrical power distribution in the early 1880s and put all his resources into developing and marketing it. This put Westinghouse's business in direct competition with Thomas Edison, who marketed direct current for electrical power distribution. And at the age of 22, he invented the railroad braking system using compressed air. And he was also interested in gas distribution and telephone switching, which led him to become interested in then new field of electrical power distribution in the early 1880s. Electrical lighting was a growing business, with many companies building outdoor direct current and alternating current arc lighting-based lighting systems. So in 1893, he won the bid to light the 1893 World Columbian Exposition in Chicago with alternating current, slightly underbidding General Electric to get the contract. It was a key event in history of AC power, as Westinghouse demonstrated the safety, reliability, and efficiency of a fully integrated alternating current system to the American public. He was born in Central Bridge, New York. On the 6th of October 1893, Meghnad Saha, Indian astrophysicist who developed the Saha ionization equation used to describe chemical and physical conditions in stars. His work allowed astronomers to accurately relate the spectral classes of stars to their actual temperatures. Saha's study of the thermal ionization of elements led to him to formulate what is known as the Saha equation, which is the basic tools for interpreting the spectra of stars in astrophysics. He also invented an instrument to measure the weight and pressure of solar rays and helped to build several scientific instruments, institutions, such as Physics Department at Allahabad University and the Institute of Nuclear Physics in Calcutta. He actively participated in parliament in areas of education, refugee and rehabilitation, atomic energy, multi-purpose river projects and flood control, and long-term planning. He was born in Saratoli, Dhaka, Bengal Presidency. Quite an interesting man.
Yeah.
6th of October 1903, Ernest Thomas Sinton Walton, an Anglo-Irish physicist, Nobel laureate for his work with John Cockcroft with atom-smashing experiments done at Cambridge University in the early 1930s, and so become the first person in history to split the atom. During the early 1930s, Walton and John Cockcroft collaborated to build an apparatus that split the nuclei of lithium atoms by bombarding them with a stream of protons accelerated inside a high-voltage tube. The splitting of the lithium nuclei produced helium nuclei. This experimental verification of theories about atomic structure that had been proposed earlier by Rutherford, George Gamow, and others. The successful apparatus, a type of particle accelerator now called the Cockcroft-Walton generator. It helped usher in the particle accelerator-based experimental nuclear physics. He was born in Abbeyside, Dungarvan. And on to our events of interest. The 6th of October 1866, the Renault brothers carry out the first train robbery in U.S. history. the Reno brothers made their first train robbery, making off with 13,000 from an Ohio and Mississippi Railroad train in Jackson County, Indiana. Of course, the trains had been robbed before the Reno brothers holdup, but their previous crimes had all been burglaries of stationary trains sitting in depots or freight yards. The Reno brothers' contribution to criminal history was to stop a moving train in a sparsely populated region where they could carry out their crime without risking interference from law or curious bystanders. Though created in Indiana, the Reno brothers' new methods of robbing trains quickly became popular in the West, and many bandits copied the method. Some crime gangs, like Butch Cassidy's Wild Bunch, found that robbing trains was so easy and lucrative that for a time they made it their criminal specialty. As a result, by the 19th century, train robbery was becoming increasingly difficult and dangerous profession. Imagine trying to do that now.
I reckon it'll be fun. I've got a weekend project.
Let's rob it. Yeah, but what train would you want to rob, though?
That's a good question. It's mostly coal and cattle through here.
On the 6th of October 1927, opening of The Jazz Singer, the first prominent talkie movie. The premiere was set for October 6, 1927 at Warner Brothers Flagship Theater in New York City. In keeping with the film's theme of a conflict within the Jewish family, the film premiered after sunset on the eve of Yom Kippur holiday. According to Doris Warner, who was in attendance about halfway through the film, she began to feel that something exceptional was taking place. Suddenly, Jolson's face appeared in a big close-up and said, wait a minute, you ain't heard nothing yet." Jolson's "wait a minute" line prompted a loud, positive response from the audience, who were dumbfounded by seeing and hearing someone speak on a film for the first time. So much so that the double entendre was missed at first. Applause followed each of his songs. Excitement built, and when Jolson and Eugenia Bessier began their dialogue scene, the audience became hysterical. After the show, the audience turned into a milling, battling mob. In one journalist description, chanting "Jolson, Jolson, Jolson." Among those who reviewed the film, the critic who foresaw most clearly what it presaged for the future of cinema was Life magazine's Robert E. Sherwood. He described the spoken dialogue scene between Jolson and Bessier as fraught with tremendous significance. "I, for one, suddenly realized that the end of the silent drama is in sight."
Oh, maybe I'm dumb, but I don't get the double entendre in that line.
I think it was just a moment, we always see silent footage, and all of a sudden, my God, this moment of him speaking.
Yeah, I don't think you know what a double entendre is.
No, I don't think so either. On the 6th of October 1995, the first planet orbiting around the Sun, 51 Pegasi b, is discovered. The exoplanet's discovery was announced on October 6, 1995 by Michael Mayer and Didier Queloz at the University of Geneva in the journal Nature. They used the radial velocity method of the Lodi spectrograph on the Observatoire de Haute-Provence telescope in France and made world headlines with their announcement. For their discovery, they were awarded the 2019 Nobel Prize in Physics. The planet was discovered using a sensitive spectroscope that could detect the slight and regular velocity changes in the star's spectral lines of around 70 meters per second. Once astronomers realized what it was worth looking for giant planets with the currently available technology, much more telescope time was devoted to radial velocity planet searches, and hence many more exoplanets in the Sun's neighborhood were discovered. Cool name, though, by the way.
Yeah, and I found out that the star that it orbits might actually supernova soon.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a case of history repeating itself.
It happens every day.
Well, to quote Phil Duper, this real life is stoked with irony. And finally, on the 6th of October 2007, Jason Lewis completes the first human-powered circumnavigation of the Earth. So Lewis set off with friend and fellow adventurer Stevie Smith from Greenwich, London, on 12th of July 1994 to complete the world's first human-powered circumnavigation and the two dubbed the journey Expedition 360. By July 2007, Lewis had traveled over 60,000 kilometers, which is 37,000 miles. He successfully ended his 4,833-day expedition on 6th of October 2007, having traveled 74,842 kilometers, which is 46,505 miles. Pulling Moscow in tow, Lewis crossed the Greenwich Meridian Line, where he began his expedition 13 years earlier. During his expedition, Lewis twice survived malaria, sepsis, a bout of mild schizophrenia, and a crocodile attack near Australia in 2005. As part of a wider interest in sustainability and education, Lewis had visited more than 900 schools in 37 countries, giving talks to students and traveling them in a variety of programs to promote world citizenship, zero carbon emissions travel, and awareness of consumption habits on the health of the planet. That is a long time, from 1994 till 2007.
Yeah, probably would have been faster if he hadn't had so many setbacks.
Well, the schizophrenia, I bet you might have taken him a while to get over it. Anyways, that's all we have for this week. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, iTunes, that'snotcanon.com, where we're an archive of our old episodes. You can also find us on Pod Hero,
where you can support us with $5 a month, split between all the podcasts that you listen to on Pod Hero.
So take care of each other, stay hydrated, and
we'll see you next time.
Yeah.